Okay, now we'll be finding the x and y intercepts of a square root graph. Now, it's the same format. And the y-intercept, y is to the first power, so just one of them. Now, there's only one x-intercept too, and you're like, well, it's a square root, so wouldn't there be two? Yeah, but x isn't to the second power. See where my pen's at? There ain't no second power there, okay? So there'd only be one of each at the most. All right, now the y is easy. We just replace the x with 0. Rather than screw around on the calculator, just take your 0 plus 4 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, okay? Now, you're like, would it be negative 2? No, I only have 1, so it's 2. Now, the x, again, you got to do a little bit of work. You replace your y with 0, and then you solve the square root. Get rid of the square root with a second power. And 0 to the second power is 0. And then I have the expression x plus 4. And I just subtract 4. And negative 4 equals x. So that's my x-intercept. Wasn't too hard. Okay, next one. Now you have a cubed root. And actually, if you're doing a domain and range on a cubed root, they're both all real numbers, both of them. Because you can cube root any number. It's when you have an even root where you'll get the domain error, but that's not what we're doing here, so I don't need to convolute things. Again, the y, there's just one of them. The x, again, there's not 3 of them because that is not a third power to the x. The x has a first power, so there's only one of those as well. Okay, let's get the easy one done. Although this takes a little bit. Cross that out, put 5. Now you probably don't know the cubed root of 5, so you go 3 second caret, not 3 second x squared. It's 3 second caret. That's how you do a cubed root of 5, and you get a crazy decimal. That's fine. And then hit minus 8 because you have that operation. Negative 6.29 is my approximate y-intercept. It's not exact. Then I put 0 in for y. And I solve. You got the inside expression here. You have an operator here outside now. You can't go to your power right away. You got to add 8, and now you're at 8. So 8 equals the cubed root of x plus 8. Now you're like, some of you are like, well, would I have to divide by 3? No, the 3 is not a multiplier. The 3 is up in the root's index. The 3 would be here if you had to divide. You are now ready to get rid of your root. But instead of a second power, you get rid of it with a third power. Okay. So I now have just the expression x plus 8, and then I take 8 to the third power. That's 512. And then I minus 8. 512 minus 8 is 504. Good thing I don't have to graph that. That would really suck. Okay. Okay, next one. Again, the cubed root means you don't ever divide by 3. Okay, it just means instead of a second power, you do a third power. Okay, so I got x int, y int. Y is just, they're both to the first power, so there's only one of each. Remember, at the y-intercept, your x is 0. At the x-intercept, your y is 0. So let's put the 0 in for x here. This ought to be not too hard. Well, 0 plus 3 is 3, and then I'm going to find the square root of 3. Now, it's a square root, not a cubed root, so now I go second x squared, okay? 3 minus 4. So the y-intercept is approximately negative 2.27. Okay, now the x-intercept, you got to work a little bit for you. Put 0 in for the y, and then rewrite the equation. Now, here's the expression under the square root. But first, you got another operation here. You got to add 4. Now you're at 4 equals the square root of x plus 3. And now you don't have any operations outside, so you can do your second power. Now 4 to the second power is 16 equals x plus 3, and we subtract 3, and that's 13. So 13, 0 is my x-intercept. This graph crosses the x-axis, the one going this way at 13. It crosses the one going up and down at approximately this. Okay, now I'm going to do a cubed root. Once again, the cubed root does not mean you have 3 x-intercepts. It is not x to the third, it's the cubed root. And also the 3 is in the index, so we will not be dividing by 3 at any point. Okay. Okay, so put the 0 in for x. Okay, cubed root, -2. Now you're like, ain't that I? No, it's a cubed root. So you go 3. Now you do 3 second caret, -2, hit equals, and then add your 6. And that's 4.74. That's your approximate y. Okay, now the y-intercept. Put your 0 in for x, or under y, your x-intercept. So rewrite the equation, but without y, 0 is now taking its place. And first you undo the plus 6. That's -6 equals the cubed root of x minus 2. Now again, you don't have to divide by 3. You're now ready to get rid of the root, but you do it with a third power. -6 to the third power. When you do a negative to a power, you would want to put parentheses around it. That's -216. It's a negative times another negative. X minus 2. Then I add 2, and that's -214. Boom.